Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, October 1st. We are in a new month, and today we are getting ready for our second read aloud of the week. Now, if you remember from Tuesday's read aloud when we read, we talked about family, and we also talked about how we are going to extend our 5 W's and talk about some new vocabulary words. Okay, so we are going to not only be talking about our 5 W's, but also putting different words to them. So instead of talking about who is in the story, we are now going to use the word character. Okay, so who are the characters in the story? The second W, instead of talking about the what, we are going to use the word plot. And when we talk about plot, we are talking about the important events that happen in the story at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. And the last vocabulary word that we're talking about this week is setting. And remember, the setting goes with where and when. Where does the story take place and when does the story take place? And one thing to remember about the setting is that it can change throughout the story. And don't forget about that why. Why did the characters act a certain way? Or why did the story end that way? Okay, so we are talking about character, plot, and setting this week. And also, we are paying very close attention to the illustrations in our story. And we are looking at those illustrations to try and help us understand more about the characters, the plot, and the setting. So we are using the illustrations to make meaning and to understand what's happening with the characters, the plot, and the setting. All right, so our book from Tuesday focused on family and Pecan Pie Baby. Today's book also is going to focus on family, but today's book has a little surprise. And at the end, I want you to see if you can figure out what the surprise is. And then on Friday, you're going to get to do a little bit of writing and drawing to go along with today's story. So as I'm reading, remember to be thinking about the characters, the plot, and the setting, and how the illustrations help you to figure out what's going on with each of those things. So today's story is called The Wednesday Surprise. So I want you to take a look at the front cover. Our author is Eve Bunting, and our illustrator is Donald Carrick. Now remember, the author is the one who writes the words, and the illustrator is the one who draws the pictures. So take a look at the front cover. Here we have a little girl, and her name is Anna, and then she is sitting with her grandma. I want you to pause the video for a second and take some think time. What do you think is going on here? Looking at our title, The Wednesday Surprise, and we have 2 characters that we know of, Anna and her grandma. I wonder what the surprise is going to be, and I wonder what Wednesday has to do with it. Here we go. The Wednesday Surprise. Remember, we're taking a close look at our illustrations to make meaning of the characters, the setting, and the plot. Let me go ahead and back this up a little bit. All right. I like surprises, but the one Grandma and I are planning for Dad's birthday is the best surprise of all. We work on it Wednesday nights. On Wednesdays, Mom has to stay late at the office, and my brother Sam goes to basketball practice at the Y. That's when Grandma rides the bus across town to stay with me. So right away, we see in the text why it's called the Wednesday Surprise. So take some think time. Why do they call it the Wednesday Surprise? I watch for her from the window, and I blow on the glass to make breath pictures while I wait. When I see her, I call, "Sam, she's here!" And he says, "It's okay to run down the long stairs and wait by the door." "Grandma," I call. So we have Anna, and this is what she does while she's waiting. I wonder why she gets so excited. "Anna!" She's hurrying, her big cloth bag bumping against her legs. We meet and hug. She tells me how much I've grown since last week, and I tell her how much she's grown too, which is our joke. Between us, we carry her lumpy bag upstairs. I show Grandma my breath picture, if it's still there. Mostly, she knows what it is. Mostly, she's the only one who does. All right, so again, take a look at our illustration. Wonder what this is telling us about the relationship between Grandma and Anna. Now let's look at our question. What is the joke that they always tell each other? Just pause the video and take some think time. What is the joke that Grandma and Anna always tell each other? On Wednesday nights, we have hot dogs. Have you heard from your dad? Grandma asks Sam. He'll be back Saturday, same as always, Sam says, in time for his birthday. His birthday? Grandma raises her eyebrows as if she'd forgotten all about that. Grandma is some actress. When Sam goes, she and I do the dishes. Then we get down to business. All right, let's look at this illustration. So it seems like our setting has changed. Let's look at the background. What do you think our setting is? Where are they? Okay, and then we can tell based on the characters' faces how they're feeling and what's going on. Remember the plot. Now we have two different questions here. The first one says, what does Anna mean when she says Grandma is some actress? I wonder if she really means that Grandma is an actress. I wonder what that means. And our second question says, what does getting down to business have to do with the surprise? Have you ever heard somebody say, let's get down to business? What do you think that means? And what does it have to do with the Wednesday surprise? Again, pause the video and take some think time. I sit beside her on the couch, and she takes the first picture book from the bag. We read the story together out loud, and when we finish one book, we start a second. We read for an hour, get some ice cream, then read some more. Grandma gives me another hug. Only 7 years old and smart as paint already. I'm pleased. They're all going to be so surprised on Saturday, I say. So we've got a question here. What do you think Grandma and Anna are doing? Let's look at our picture. What does it look like they're doing? And what clues from the story make you think that? So once you figure out what you think they're doing, what in this picture, what in this illustration makes you think that? Look very closely at the illustration. When Sam comes home, we play card games, and when Mom comes, she plays too. You'll be here for the birthday dinner, Mom asks as Grandma is getting ready to leave. Oh, yes, the birthday, Grandma says, vaguely, as if she'd forgotten again, as if we hadn't been working on our special surprise for weeks and weeks. Grandma is tricky. I'll be here, she says. So take a look at Grandma's character. I wonder why she's going like this as she's speaking. And why do you think Grandma keeps forgetting about the birthday surprise? Do you think she actually is forgetting about the birthday? Or is she just tricking? And why? Sam walks Grandma to the bus stop. As they're going down the stairs, I hear him say, "What have you got in this bag, Grandma? Bricks?" That makes me smile. Dad comes home Saturday morning, and we rush at him with our happy birthdays. He has brought Sam a basketball magazine and me a pebble, smooth and speckled as an egg, for my rock collection. I found it in the desert, close to the truck stop, he says. It was half covered with sand. How do you think our characters are feeling that Dad is home? We're getting closer to the surprise. I wonder what it is. I hold it, imagining I can still feel the desert sun hot inside it. How long did it lie there? What kind of rock is it? Dad has stopped to pick wildflowers for Mom. They're wilting and she runs to put them in water. Then Dad has to go to bed because he has been driving his big truck all through the night. So let's pause for a second and think about Dad's job. What do we think Dad's job is? So if you see, our question here says, Dad is a truck driver. It sounds like he's been gone for many days. Where do you think he has been? Now let's think. He's a truck driver. So where do you think he's been? While Dad sleeps, Sam and I hang red and blue streamers in the living room. We help Mom frost the cake. We've made Dad's favorite dinner, pot roast, and our gifts are wrapped and ready. I watch for Grandma and help carry the bag upstairs. Wow! Sam should feel how heavy it is now. Grandma has brought a ton of books. We hide the bag behind the couch. I am sick from being nervous. Grandma usually has seconds, but tonight she doesn't. I don't either. I can tell Mom is worried about the pot roast, but Grandma tells her it's very good. I wonder why Anna and Grandma are so nervous. It's time for the party. Are you feeling well, Mama? Dad asks Grandma. How are your knees? Fine, fine, the knees are fine. Dad blows out the birthday candles and we give him his gifts. Then Grandma shoots a glance in my direction, and I go for the big bag and drag it across the table. I settle it on the floor between us. Another present? Dad asks. It's a special surprise for your birthday, Dad, from Grandma and me. Pause the video and take some think time. What do you think the surprise is? The author's given you a few hints. Let's think about our illustrations and think about the words. What do you think the surprise might be? Let's read to find out. My heart's beating awfully fast as I unzip the bag and give the first book to Grandma. It's called Popcorn. I squeeze Grandma's hand and she stands and begins to read. Mom and Dad and Sam are all astonished. Dad jumps up and says, "What's this?" But Mom shushes him and pulls him back down. Shh. Grandma has the floor. She finishes Popcorn, which takes quite a while, gives the book back to me, and beams all over her face. So let's take a look at Dad and Mom and Anna and Sam as Grandma is reading the book. So let's look at our question. What is Anna and Grandma's special surprise? Have you figured it out yet? And if you have, what do you think about it? Is it what you were expecting? Pause the video and take some think time. How are you feeling about this surprise? And why do you think it's such a big deal? My goodness, Mom is beaming too. When did this wonderful thing happen? When did you learn to read? Anna taught me, Grandma says. On Wednesday nights, I add. And she took the books home and practiced. You were always telling me to go to classes, Grandma says to Dad. She looks at Mom. You must learn to read, you say. So, I come to Anna. So if you haven't figured it out by now, the surprise was that Anna taught her grandma how to read. So Anna's grandma could not read. And as a surprise, Anna and Grandma have been working every Wednesday night to practice reading so that for Dad's birthday, Grandma would read a book. I giggle because I'm so excited. Grandma reads and acts out The Easter Pig and The Velveteen Rabbit. It's much smarter if you learn to read when you're young, she tells Sam sternly. The chance may pass along with the years. Sam looks hurt. But I can read, Grandma. So we've got Grandma teaching her grandkids a little lesson about reading. Nevertheless, she takes out another book. Are you going to read everything in that bag, Mama? Dad asks her. He's grinning, but his eyes are brimming over with tears, and he and Mom are holding hands across the table. Maybe I will read everything in the world now that I've started, Grandma says in a stuck-up way. I've got time. She winks at me. Let's look at our question. Dad's eyes are brimming over with tears. Why do you think this is happening? This is a happy moment, so why is Dad crying? So, Anna, What do you think? Was it a good surprise? I run to her and she puts her cheek against mine. The best ever, I say. The end. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that story. It's one of my favorite stories. Some of you might have guessed what the surprise was, but most of you probably didn't guess the surprise. And here's why this surprise is so interesting. Usually, we have adults like Grandma teaching us to read, but in this story, we have the child teaching her grandmother how to read. So it makes it a little bit more special. And it makes it even more special that it was a surprise for Dad's birthday. All right, so today is Thursday, so you are listening to the story on Thursday. And then for Friday, for tomorrow, here is what your job is. So you will have a paper that looks like this in your folder. It says Friday at the top. So here's your directions. It says draw a time that you learned something new. Draw a time you taught someone something. So on one side, you are going to draw a picture of a time when you learned something new. Okay, so compared to the story, this would be when Grandma learned how to read. But I want to know a time when you learned something new. Okay, and then on this side, you are going to draw a picture of something you taught to someone. Okay, so for Anna, she would draw a picture of her teaching Grandma to read. And for Grandma, she would draw a picture of herself reading because she learned something new and Anna taught Grandma something. Okay, so instead of being about the story, this is going to be about your real life. Okay, if you need to go back to the story and listen again, that's fine. Okay, you have it for Thursday, but this will be done on Friday. So again, you're going to draw a picture of a time when you learned something new and a picture of a time when you taught someone something. All right, good luck, have fun, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a happy Friday and a great weekend. And I'll see you guys next week for 2 more read alouds. See ya.